Hey guys, so today in Illustrator we're going to be working with 3D objects, and it's great for package design mockups. It's a little bit more of an advanced skill, but it's still within our reach as, not being super familiar with Illustrator, we could still use this feature, and it's quite fun to work with. So to start this demo, you're going to have to download the Illustrator 3D demo.ai file from Brightspace Week 10. So once you get that opened up in Illustrator, make sure you go to Window Workspace, Essentials Classic, and let's go to the pen tool. So we're going to start with the first artboard. We have two artboards here, one with a coffee mug and one with a bottle. So let's go to the coffee mug here, and let's zoom in. You can use the zoom tool. Click and drag that to the right to zoom in, left to zoom out while holding down your cursor. Okay, so let's go back to the pen tool. We've done a little bit of work with the pen tool, so let's get to the middle, basically. Let's just imagine a line going through the central vertical axis of this mug, and let's create a dot with the pen tool. And then let's click, and let's just quickly, let's zoom in a little bit more. Command plus or Control plus on your keyboard. Option, click on the second dot that you've made to create this nice little curve. We can go straight and click. I'm actually going to option click again to create this curve. Option click. I do a lot of option clicking on mine. I know that the Illustrator pen demo that was shown to you, he didn't option click his dots very much, but a lot of times I just option click my dots, and that's how I do my dots. So we're just basically making a line all the way around this mug. Not all the way around, I guess I should say just through the vertical, just like half of the mug, basically. You'll see what I'm talking about once I finish this. So I'm option clicking and just drawing out the shape that I'm looking for. It's not exactly matching what I have here, but okay, and then I'll end about halfway through here. You can't see anything on this. If you push escape, that will help you to end your pen tool. And I don't have a fill color or a stroke color on my pen tool. You can get it over here. You can also get it in the properties panel. I'm going to give it a stroke so that we can see the line that I made. Sometimes you might have a fill set to your pen tool, and a lot of times you don't want that, so just click on this fill and push none, and then the stroke, make sure that's on black. And if you need to do that before you actually start making your anchor points along the coffee mug, then that works really well. Sometimes you might have to make some adjustments after the fact to pen tool anchor points. So let's go to the direct selection tool or the white arrow tool and push shift and click on a area that we need to kind of adjust. So this doesn't look so great, so I'm just going to move it down so that it's matching a little closer. Same goes for this last endpoint. Didn't really match it up very well. I can also change the handle here to kind of try and get that curve a little bit closer to what is there. And actually this is a little bit over halfway, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit more. And this is all kind of a guessing game. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? So let's get this select with the black arrow tools so that we get like this box around it. And let's go ahead and go to Window, 3D and Materials. And this will bring up the 3D and Materials panel. And we can actually create, let's go to Object up here, and let's go to Revolve. Let's click on that. Cool. So it automatically should, make your revolve angles 360, offset is 0, offset direction from left edge. You can change some of these things, but really I don't think it's necessary. Actually, let's change this stroke color to white now, and you can see we've made a 3D coffee mug. Pretty cool. So in the layers panel, let's go ahead and turn off the coffee mug with the eyeball. So I'm really talking about the coffee mug in layer 1, and the bottle will disappear as well in the second artboard, but now we can really just see what we've made without that extra coffee mug thing there. So we also want to add a logo to this, and a couple other things too. So up here we have this, I think it's a PNG file. I embedded it, so it's embedded. We can unembed in the quick actions in the properties panel. So go ahead and click on this coffee graphic that is above the artboard. I think it'll probably be above this first artboard. So definitely look above the first artboard. So, and then we also want to do an image trace to it. So you're gonna have to unembed it in the quick actions, image trace, and let's go to black and white logo, push OK if that comes up, and make sure to push expand. So now you can see if we zoom in on this Command plus, or Control plus on a Windows machine, or you can use the zoom tool, you can see that we have anchor points now, and this is vector. Super high quality file. Let's go to the white arrow tool. Let's delete the background on this one. Actually, let's leave the lower background in. And, well, no, let's delete that. And let's just go in and delete these. Sometimes you have to push delete more than once, but get those white shapes that are in there and delete those completely. You know, you might have to push delete more than once. Okay, zoom out a little bit. Okay, and I'm actually going to put a shape behind this that is a different color. You can double click over here. I'm used to doing this, but you can also use this area. We might need to go into, let's see, this is getting confusing, but up here at the top where it says color, over here on the right, looks like a little, I don't know, easel thing, or maybe not an easel, but palette. So go to the stack line menu, the hamburger menu here up in this, in the color panel, and go to CMYK. And then try to change the color, because it won't change the color for you unless you do that, unless you change it to CMYK for that one. Some files, when you bring them in, they just do not want to, after you've done an image trace to them, they do not want to, they just don't want to work for you the way you want them to. They won't let you add color. I really like this color picker better because I'm just more used to it. So I'm going to use that to get the color that I'm wanting. I want just a nice brown color for coffee. And then I'm going to do an arrange, send to back. Great. So let's grab this coffee, double click that. I'm going to make this 0. That's one way to get white. You can also go over here and just find white. If you need to, you know, go here and do that CMYK again to this particular selection. You know, you might need to do that. So here we go. Let's close that up again so it's not in the way. And let's just like click and drag over both of these to get both things selected. We can do an alignment up here or over here through the vertical center, or horizontal center, I guess I should say. And let's group this in the quick actions in the properties panel. So now it will move as one piece. And let's go into the 3D and materials panel here that we pulled up earlier. Let's go to materials and let's just drag and drop this as a graphic. So make sure you're on graphics, not materials, but graphics. And then let's click and drag that in there. And now we have added this as a graphic in the 3D and materials graphics area. I've got a couple things in here. I have the MSU Northern logo. I have this that I just dragged and dropped into there. So if we select this coffee mug that we just made, we can actually click on that. It takes a little bit sometimes for it to work, and it'll bring it over the top of our coffee mug, and it'll wrap around our coffee mug. So that's kind of cool. We can, you know, make it smaller by, and we can move it around. You can click and drag and move it around. I think I might need to make it bigger so that it matches the sleeve a little bit better. It's okay if yours doesn't match as well as mine does. That was just kind of luck, honestly. If your rectangle is a little fatter that you put behind, then it probably won't match up quite as well as mine did. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting lesson for you guys in the 3D materials and how that can help with creating mock-ups of package design. And a lot of designers will do this for their clients. You know, if you have a coffee shop that wants to see its logo on multiple objects, you can create those mock-ups for your clients using the 3D panel. There's other things in here. You can adjust the lighting on your 3D objects. So if we select that stroke that we made that's made our 3D coffee mug, we can actually go into the lighting. We can change the lighting. There's a couple different options. I kind of like the top left. You can make the intensity brighter or less, less. You can do some rotation. You can mess around with some of this stuff. You can uncheck the ambient light. I think the ambient light looks better. The intensity could go up or down depending on, what you're liking. And you can also add a shadow, which is great. So I suggest adding a shadow. You can do behind or below object. You can do a distance from object. I would say keep it close so that it looks somewhat realistic. The shadow bounds, I don't, just keep it up so that it's not cutting the shadow off. So yeah, that is kind of the gist of it, really. Just experimenting with some of these. So you can experiment with a shadow, definitely add a shadow to this. And then with the second artboard, let me just go ahead and show you over here in the layers panel. We want to open that up and we want to put our eyeball back on so that we can see this second piece here. So I would like you to create a bottle, a 3D bottle, just in the same way that we created the 3D mug. So in the layers panel, I am going to lock these layers down so that you can't click and drag them around. If you need to, just unlock them to be able to edit these. I don't think you should need to. You can just turn the eyeballs off. But, go ahead and use the pen tool, click around this object. Make sure in layer 2, of course, when you're doing that. And just do it just like we did the last piece, basically the last mug, coffee cup that we made. And remember, you only have to do half of it. And then the rotation or the revolve in the 3D and materials panel will do the rest for you. And then I would like you to bring in a logo, your own logo that you made. And I would bring in the JPEG file place. So let's say we have a logo in here. I'm not sure if I actually do, but okay, I have found one. So I'm going to use Caleb as a guinea pig for this one. Hopefully he doesn't mind, but I'm going to bring in his logo, his black and white one. The AI file will work just fine. Click that in. And definitely want you to add it to the materials by clicking and dragging that in. So we might need to embed it first before we do that. And so if I click on this object, you have to have it selected. Remember, I can actually bring in a logo. So what I'm wanting you to do, basically, and it will actually wrap to all of the surfaces on this thing. But what I'm wanting you to do is to create this 3D object, this bottle, as best you can, and then bring your personal logo project that you turned in into the graphics area of the 3D and materials panel, and I want you to apply that to the bottle that you make on this second artboard. And I want you to do a file save to this. And I want you to turn in the Illustrator 3D demo in Brightspace by the due date listed in Brightspace. And that's basically the 3D demo that we will be doing today. So yeah, hopefully you thought that was kind of fun. I think it's kind of fun. All right, talk to you later.